So hey guys, this video is a short note on bone grafting. What is the need for this kind of note? Because it is an important question for your university exams, as well as for your vivas, and as well as for the practical purposes as well. Because once you are in orthopedics, you should know where to put a bone graft, when you may require a bone graft, or what are the different types of bone graft that one may need, right? So you know why the bone graft is required, like you say, the hair graft, hair follicle is graft for somebody's baldness. Similar way, when somebody is short of bones, in what cases? For example, somebody has got a RTA, root traffic accident, and they lost some part of the bone somewhere. So if we need to fill that void, if we need to fill that empty area which has been created because of the loss of bone, then we need a bone graft. Correct? So what are the different types of graft that we can use? There are multiple types of graft that can be used or that can be learned, basically. So first point in this bone graft would be, what are the different types of graft that you should know? What are the different areas or regions from where, or what are the sources from where you can take a bone graft? What are those? Number one is what you call a autograft, right? Number one is what you call a autograft or autogenic graft. What is the meaning of that? Autogenic graft. Autogenic graft means that you have taken the graft from patient only. In whomsoever it is required, you have taken a graft from him only. For example, that if somebody is coming to you with a fracture of femur or a fracture of tibia, or let's say non-union of the bone, then you are taking out the graft from his own iliac crest or own fibula, depending on the type of graft required, cortical or cancellous. Okay? So when you are taking from the patient himself is the source. So who is the source here? The source is the patient himself, right? Source is the patient himself. That is one important point. The source is the patient himself. Number one. Okay. So these autogenic grafts, when you're taking out, you should know that there are two broad, common types of graft that can be taken out from a patient. What are those? You call it autogenic graft, which can be cortical, or which can be cancellous, or which can be mesenchymal. Okay. So what do you call them? The autogenic. These are known as autogenic cortical graft, autogenic cortical graft, or autogenic cancellous graft. What is the meaning of this? Autogenic cortical or cancellous graft? Cortical means when you need the graft to provide the stability, the strength. For example, the most commonest bone which is taken out for a cortical support, it is fibula, right? And when you want to have an osteoinductive property, where you want to promote the formation of the bone, then you take out the cancellous part. If I draw a tibia for you like this, you know that this all area is a cortex. This is what you call a cortex. Similarly, the fibula, which is adjacent bone over here, this whole bone is a cortical graft. The central part of this tibia is what you call the cancellous part. Similarly, femur, similarly long bones, right? That is what you call a cancellous area. So, autogenic cortical graft, autogenic cancellous graft. So, a cancellous you can take out from iliac crest. Now, if overall they ask you what is the best source of a graft harvest, what is the best source? So you should remember that iliac crest is the best source for any kind of graft. Why? Because iliac crest can give you both the cortical as well as the cancellous graft. The outer table, the margin that you feel over your skin, this iliac crest, the upper part is all cortical. When you cut it out, when you remove it, inside it, there will be a lot of cancellous graft. So ideal site for a bone graft, it is always iliac crest. Ideal site for a cortical graft, it is always fibula, right? Then these basically the other type which can be taken out from the same patient. One I told you, autogenic, cortical or cancellous, and then the third one is mesenchymal stem cells. They are known as mesenchymal stem, right? So cortical or cancellous. Now this cortical that you have taken, when you take out this cortical graft, there are two important things that you should know, that whenever you take out a cortical bone, this can be taken up in two ways. If you take that along with the vascularity, so it is known as a vascularized cortical graft. And where do we need a vascularized cortical graft? Any example you remember? You all know the example. What is that? When you take that in the cases of fracture neck of femur. When you do that in the cases of fracture neck of femur, and other can be, it can be non-vascularized when you need only for the strength, only for the support. right? So autogenic graft can be cortical, can be cancellous, and it can be mesenchymal stem cells. Cortical again can be vascularized or non-vascularized, and cancellous, ideal source being the islets. Okay, that is number one. That is what you call autogenic graft, where the source is patient himself. Second one is what you call the allogenic graft. Second one is what you call the allogenic graft. What is that allogenic graft? Allograft or allogenic graft, it simply means that it is taken, the graft has been taken from the member of same species, right? The graft is taken from, the graft is taken from non-identical members of the same species, non-identical members of same species, and they may be living or they may be cadaver. So they can be living or they can be cadaver, because nowadays, you know, we have got bone banks also, where the patient's bone, like when you do hemiarthroplasty, the head of the femur which is excised can be deposited in a bone bank. So where it is screened out, where the disease are, you know, ruled out, and then it is kept preserved. If a long you know, lot of bone is required for somebody for grafting, then bone bank can give you the bone. Okay, so this is required when the resection or when the loss of bone is very high. For example, these are required in cases of, required in cases of large bone excision. What are the cases where we may need them? Examples can be the bone tumors. When we do the excision of bone tumors, so we may require lot of bone to fill that void. Okay, that is number two, allogenic graft. Third is heterogenic graft or xenograft. It is heterogenic graft. Third is heterogenic graft. What is that heterogenic graft? Heterogenic graft, when it is taken from other species, right? Graft which is taken from other species, right? These are not very commonly in use. And then fourth type of graft we have are the synthetic materials, basically, right? We have got synthetic materials which we simply call as the bone substitutes. Fourth one are the bone substitutes. Okay, so bone substitute, basically they help the these autogenic graft or the allogenic graft. You combine with them, they increase the mass, and you can use them there, right? These are various types. These are made up of various you know, components. For example, the calcium phosphate ceramics. They can be calcium phosphate ceramics. They can be, the involvement can be as hydroxyapatites. They can be as hydroxyapatites. They can be tricalcium phosphates. So they can be tricalcium phosphates. So hydroxyapatite, tricalcium phosphates. They can be calcium, phosphates or sulfates. So they can be calcium phosphate. They can be calcium sulfate. These are various types: calcium phosphate, calcium sulfate, or the cements, basically the calcium phosphate cements, right? This is one type, the calcium phosphate ceramics. Then similarly, there can be demineralized. The second part, the second types that we can have is demineralized bone matrix. Demineralized bone matrix. That means only the osteoid part is there. There is no mineral into that. Demineralized bone matrix. And then we have the third, bone morphogenetic proteins, BMPs. Right? These are the different kind of the substitutes, the what you call the additional substances which can support the autograft or the allograft when you need a lot of space or the void to be filled. Right? Now, as I told you, the bone graft can be cortical. So when you say the graft, if you broadly ask me graft, it can be cortical or cancellous. I told you that wherever you are taking it out, you call it that kind of graft. So it can be cortical or cancellous. Now the uses. Now the uses for bone graft. What are the probable or the primary sites where we can use the bone graft? Two X-rays are visible to you. Okay, so number one, it can be used when there is a non-union. It can be used when there is a non-union of bones. Number one, it can be used in non-union of the bones, right? Now you see this, here you can appreciate that, here you can see that the radius has been plated, there is a plate, but still the bone is not uniting. You can see a gap, appreciable gap between the two ends of the bone. So it is a non-union of the bone, and most likely the plate has failed or implant is loosened. So this is what we call non-union of the bones. Here we can use the bone graft, right? Second, when you're doing the joint arthrodesis, now you see this is femur and this is tibia, and for some reason if we need to fuse the knee joint, so what we do is we excise the lower part of femur, we excise the upper part of tibia, we put some bone graft and we pass a rod or some implant to fix it, right? So when we are doing the arthrodesis, so establish to establish union in arthrodesis, right? Number three, it is to fill the big cavities. It is to fill cavities after excision. When you're doing the excision is being done in the cases of bone tumors, like bone tumors. So to fill the cavities after big voids. Okay. So I told you non-union of the bone, or also you can add when there is a delayed union. It is showing some union, but it is delayed. So we can add a bone graft, right? So these are broadly three indications for the bone graft when you have to do that, or when also you can say to fill big voids, also to fill big voids in comminuted fracture. Let's suppose some bone has got multiple pieces. Some bone has got multiple pieces and there is a big gap between the bony ends. So what to do? Put some bone graft, fix it properly and put some bone graft so that there is osteoconductive inductive potential. The bone can grow, right? So these are the uses. So I hope this short note will serve the purpose, to write a short answer in your exams, right? This is basic idea about the bone grafting. This is important for your university as well, right? So please provide some more topics on which you would like to have the videos, and surely I'll be happy to make them and share with you all. Right? So thank you so much.